Hello there, Saber World. This is Goodman from ArkLight Arsenal. Today I'm featuring one of my latest conversions. This is a very rare Korbanth Darth Maul lightsaber. It's their version 1, what I'm calling it. Built several years ago, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago if memory serves. He did do a version 2 more recently, about 3 years ago. I have one of those copies being converted. But for now, I heard from Randy that this was the last one he had in stock from the version 1. And given that dimensionally it's very, very accurate. It's a little slender compared to the Master Replicas limited edition, which I actually like. But other than that, it's a very accurate replica. Rarely really see these around. So I wanted to take the opportunity to snatch it up and do something special with it. This particular saber features a Crystal Focus version 6.5. So we'll sort of begin the walkthrough here. The 2.1mm recharge port is hidden here in the Kovertek wheel. For those not familiar, these sabers, modern technology allows us to just plug these in like cell phones, and it recharges an onboard lithium-ion battery pack. I'll go ahead and remove this kill key and we can hear the saber boot. The Crystal Focus has 6 different sound fonts in it. It drives both sides of the saber at the same time. So rather than have 2 independent Crystal Focus soundboards in here, which would be prohibitively expensive, I opted just to put one, and you'll see why here in a minute. The 2.1 recharge port again is hidden here. We have the main switch, which is here in the bezel, and the auxiliary switch, which is here in the second bezel. Now other than that, externally it's a fairly straightforward conversion. Most of this here is stock. I did, however, make a lot of modifications to the emitters. The emitters were bored out, and this allows a 1-inch blade to be inserted here. We'll go through that a little later. So this saber again is while originally was spec'd for 3/4-inch blades, that really doesn't fly with dueling, so it needed 7/8 or 1-inch, and I went with a 1-inch bore. Trying to think what else. Oh, the rice port is hidden here, and we can unscrew this red knurled cap to access the rice port. That allows us to plug in the saber into a laptop with Irv's Genius Rice software and configure the saber in real time. Now, other than your basic function test, this saber obviously is going to feature a little something special coming from ArkLight Arsenal. And I mentioned earlier how this saber only has 1 Crystal Focus. And notice I've been pointing only to this side as we've been discussing what's in it. So you've got your port, your switches, your batteries, and your speakers. Well, then what then is on the left side? For those of you not already familiar, my fancy at ArkLight Arsenal is building G-cores, which is, to my mind, just the internal mechanisms of a real lightsaber. And this is what it'll look like for the Darth Maul. Again, just an artist's interpretation. This saber's given name is Laceratus, and the design of the core is intended to evoke a skeleton. Again, to sort of evoke the visceral nature of Darth Maul, the character, we have this sort of like a spinal column, primary spinal column, which runs along the top side of the core. And then what I like to think of as sort of the nervous system with all these smaller wires going in and out. All these are brass, copper, aluminum, steel, fabricated again from scratch on my lathe and my mill, and everything's built from scratch. So look at my website, the link is below for better pictures. The video won't catch everything, but just again gives you a basic idea of what we're looking at here. We have a primary crystal, which is dimly lit, backlit, and then we have a random sequence between red, orange, and yellow, which simulates fire. And then here we see the Tri-Rebel. I used a RRG, so the main blade is red. The clash, however, is green. The neat thing is that the green, that inversion of color for about 25 to 30 milliseconds, really shocks your eyes and looks fantastic in real life. And we'll go ahead and fire this up. So that's a basic function of the saber itself. And again, the neat thing, not only can the saber be displayed in that display mode, but just quickly rescrewing everything together, we can add the second blade. And this goes both sides. I can't even fit it in the camera, but suffice to say it is a double blade Darth Maul lightsaber, crystal focus, and a full-length, free-floating Goodman style reveal. Go ahead and cycle through the different sound fonts. Darth Sidious is a fantastic new sound font by Darth Zuzia, a friend of mine. It works really great. He lifts some of the sounds from the Clone Wars, particularly the last duel between Savage and Darth Maul and the Emperor. So let's give a listen to this one.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
Again, for those not familiar, the crystal focus allows, with these 6 different sound banks, we can have the saber sound like 6 different types of sabers. And also the blade can be configured to match the attitude of that particular saber. There again, you can hear some of the sounds during that duel.
Darth Sidious, we have returned. The Force Unleashed Remastered, Ultimate Sith Edition.
Vader's one of my favorite fonts. Give a listen to this one. That Force sound is the Force grip. And before the video gets a little long here, we'll go to the final sound bank is Resblade. Now the neat thing about the Crystal Focus version 6 is we can invert at will, just in the programming files, the main drive LED. So because I'm using again an RRG for the Resblade, which is built by Novastar, one of my favorite fonts, one of the original Crystal Focus fonts. For this one I've inverted it and now it's green. So the main blade will be green and the clash will be red. Sort of imagine if Darth Maul was a good guy. So the R and G Tri-Rebel, again, very bright, difficult to see in this lighting, but suffice to say the room is fully lit and you can still see these firing away. Last note is that here you'll notice that the main switch is illuminated, just that typically because we operate these sabers in the dark when we're out in our backyards fighting, we can see them. So thanks for watching.